Greetings, programs. My name is Wretch, and I'd like to welcome you to a brand new series. This is Elder Sign Omens, a digital version of the awesome card and dice game produced by Fantasy Flight Game Studios. It's available on Steam right now, and you can also find it on mobile devices. The entire premise of the game is you play 4 investigators sent to search through a museum wrought with supernatural occurrences. During searching through this museum, you have to find elder signs, basically powerful arcane sigils, in order to seal up one of Lovecraft's ancient ones, great old ones, outer gods, that they differ. But the premise is the exact same. If they wake up, that's endgame for humanity and you first and foremost. So we're going to go ahead and get the game started. I'm going to let you know what we're doing here. We're going to be playing this at a slightly higher difficulty than one would do normally playing the game. You can see here there are 7 great old ones to choose from. There is Yig, Tsathogoa, He Who Shall Not Be Named, Azathoth, Cthulhu, the Dark Pharaoh, which is an avatar of Nyarlathotep, and finally Athaqua. Now, we're going to go ahead and start off with Yig, and here's what we'll do. We're going to go through the line, just trying to banish every single one of the ancients. Now, we're going to do this with the following. We are going to completely randomize our investigators, so we're not going to have some sort of set up dream team. Our investigators are going to be completely randomly chosen, and if they die, we will not be able to use them again. I will not choose them while we take on any of the other ones following that. So once they're dead, they are permadead. Now, just to give you guys kind of a little rundown, here's Yig. Here's our first one, Yig's anger. Yig's servants are working to awaken him. Find enough elder signs before he is unleashed upon the world. Basically, the snake god. Now, once it hits midnight, actually, we'll go ahead and explain that as we go. Let's go ahead and choose Yig. And now we get to pick our investigation team, and there are tons to choose from here, as you can see. Some of them are locked. They are only unlocked if you're actually able to beat some of these campaigns. So we're going to go ahead and randomly choose. And here's our team for Yig. Looks like an all-female cast. Nothing wrong with that. Actually, some of the female characters are the nastiness, and rightfully so. Okay, we have Diana Stanley. She has Dark Insight. She gains a clue token each time she defeats a monster, and we'll go into clues and all the items as we go along. Jacqueline Fine, Precognition. I don't know how exactly that's worded. Once per day, Jacqueline may spend a clue to change the mythos effect, and we'll go into the mythos effect. We have Marie Lambeau, Witchblood. Once per glyph conjure, Marie may spend 4 trophies to change a glyph into any result. And Amanda Sharp, she's one of the nastiest. Amanda may complete any number of tasks on her turn. Now you see here, all of these have stats. This right here, the brain, the blue brain, that is your sanity. And you see some people have higher sanity than others. If you lose your sanity, you become insane and you're out of the game if you're driven insane. So we'll do the same thing. If they're killed or driven insane, we cannot use them again. And the red heart, obviously your health. And you see Jacqueline there only has 3 because she's so high up on her sanity. So we have to make sure that we keep these guys' ratings high. And you have the starting items. Now, we'll go ahead and break the starting items. That means the dagger means it's a unique item. The book means it's a spell item. The little shoe print right there means there's a clue. And the gun right there means a common item. So there you go. And we'll go ahead and start. And proceed to the museum.
Something terrible has begun to awaken within our museum. A something unsatisfied by mere exhibition or human study. Writhing with ancient evil and terrible purpose. An entity that must, at all cost, be prevented access to our world. It's likely I will be branded as one unhinged for what I am about to do. From my studies, I am convinced such dangers are not new to the human experience. The very fact that humanity survives to this day I attribute to our forebears' success in resisting the tormented realities beyond our own. Regrettably, such is not easy study. Among the rarities I have been fortunate enough to uncover, one particular emblem seems significant. A symbol of purported resistive faculty and considerable power. They called it the Elder Sign.
And there we go. Yig's serpentine minions are attempting to awaken him. You must seal away this father of serpents before his wrath is unleashed upon the world. Collect 10 elder signs before the doom track is filled. And there's our mission. Now you see here's a map of the museum, and these are areas that we can go into. And they change. Oh man, I got really bad luck right there. But we're going to go down the line here. This is Yig, and we'll start with this. This is the clock. Every 4 turns, it'll strike midnight. When it strikes midnight, which is this moon right here, something bad will happen, a mythos effect, which will be a monster showing up, or people losing sanity, all the investigators losing items, or worse off, this is filled. This is the doom track. If the doom track reaches 8, Yig will wake up and the game will be over. Now, this just means that there's doom added to the track. If it hits this area, that is the universal symbol for a monster will show up. And a monster makes tasks a lot harder to complete. So we need to get 10 elder signs right here to banish him. And you'll see our elder sign counter right there. And that determines how many monsters are currently in the museum, which we have none so far. Now these around here, these are our glyphs. These are the dice that we rolled to complete tasks. You also have a yellow dice and a red dice. The yellow dice and the red dice are unlocked by using items, either common or unique, the gun and the dagger. Unfortunately, you see that lock ability right there, that lock symbol. That if you see these little pulses coming out of a location, that means there's a dice lock. That means until we complete this task right here, or the visiting antiquarian, or I don't know how you spell that, or to say that, we cannot use the yellow or the red glyphs. So those dice are completely locked to us. And then we see our investigators right here that we can go through, and you see our items. And we can go over all of these real quick. You have the healing stone, which is our unique item. You can see that by the red outline. Use before conjuring to fully restore your stamina and sanity. That's a good one. You have a flesh ward, which is a spell lock. We'll get into that as we need to. And a bind monster, which will instantly defeat a monster. So Diana's in good shape there. With Jacqueline, she has a unique item that summons the red glyph. So we'd be able to use the red dice. And the voice of Ra, that can turn one of the dice into any result. That is one of the most powerful spells in the game. And then a clue. What a clue can do is we can basically re-roll any amount of dice that we want to during one particular roll. That is a disgusting ability. Clues are awesome. Now with Marie, she has a clue, a spell lock, and a sword of glory that allows us to conjure both the red and the yellow die. And let's see, Amanda has a yellow Tommy gun that does the exact same thing, and a ruby of Riley that'll add a red glyph. So we're pretty well equipped here. Now, we're just going to go in here and I'll explain everything as we go on, so no worries. We'll go ahead and take care of the visiting antiquarian. And what does it say? As I told the esteemed scholar what I had discovered, his skepticism transformed into sheer dread. And we have tasks that we have to complete here. Now, that right there, the scroll, and then the skull, and that right there means in order to complete the task, one of our guys has to take a point of health. So sometimes there is a cost for completing these. These are our glyphs, or die. rather, and we'll just go ahead and get to it. This book, we click this book to roll, and we have a scroll. That right there, a tentacle, is called a terror, and we'll explain that more when we go into an area that has a terror effect. The spyglasses are investigations, and the skulls are actually called perils, so we'll call them so we don't get them confused with the scrolls. So we go ahead and take this one skull, this peril, and then the scroll, and we complete that task. And then we have to roll again. We can only do one task at a time. And as you can see, we do not have a scroll there. So in order to keep rolling, we have to take one dice and get rid of it, which makes it harder to do. We click on the book, still nothing. And you can see we roll less and less dice. Roll again, same deal. Now if you look here, this right here are our rewards. This is what we get for completing this task. We get a spell item and 2 unique items. If we lose 2 sanity and a health. And unfortunately, we really cannot use any of our items. As you can see, we cannot use the red because we're locked out of using any red items. Or the red dice, rather. So let's go ahead and roll and hope we get a scroll. Nada. That's bad luck right there. So we click again, and we failed. So she takes 2 sanity and 1 health. Starting out wonderfully. Now it's Jacqueline's turn. And we're going to head right back to the visitor. And roll. Okay. We don't have a peril, so we'll go ahead and take this scroll. And she took a damage there, as you can see, and that's very nasty. She only has 2 left. And there we go. There's the peril and the scroll. And we get our magic items and our 2 uniques, and these right here are trophies. We can use trophies to spend at the entrance to the museum to get items, to heal up, and various other things. Let's check that. That was Jacqueline's turn. And then a new thing appears. Assassination attempt. Now it's time for Marie. Now this moon symbol right here, that means a midnight effect. What that means is the second that it hits midnight, something bad happens besides mythos effect. And the curator is horrible, and I hate him, very much so. The curator. He was charming, articulate, and unmistakably evil. For what he had done, he could not be allowed to live. And you see at midnight, all investigators lose -2 trophies. So that's bad. We lose 2 points of sanity by losing to him, but if we win, we get an elder sign, which is what that star represents, a common item, and a clue. So let's look and see what she has. She looks well equipped to deal with him, so we're going to go ahead and give this a shot. As you can see, we need to get 3 scrolls in 1 roll, and then a scroll and 3 investigation. So I'm going to go ahead and use this Sword of Glory, which will conjure both the red and the yellow. Now, really quick for these purposes, the yellow dice does not have the terror, the tentacle effect. However, it does have an extra investigation, which is actually 4, so it goes up 1 higher than the green dice do. The red has a wild, which you can make it anything that you want. So, good to know for future reference. So go ahead and roll this. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got some options. We have 2 scrolls. We have a peril, a terror, and a bunch of investigation. We can go ahead and complete one of the tasks. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. With the scroll and 3 investigation. And then we're going to go ahead and use our spell lock. And what that does, we basically freeze one of the glyphs in place so it doesn't change. So that can help us in our future rolls. Let's re-roll. Now we have 2 scrolls. We need 1 more. So I'm going to go ahead and use a clue and drop the glyphs you wish to replace. So we'll drag the peril, this investigation, and this investigation. We're going to re-roll all of these and hope we get another scroll. Which we didn't, unfortunately. So we have to drop a glyph. Now, over here, you basically have your character in the case that you drop a glyph off to be destroyed. You can take one glyph that you want to keep, and she can hold on to it. Kind of like a spell lock in the event that you fail. So we have 2 scrolls. All we need to do is roll 1 scroll. Which it's not going to do. Another try. Ooh, things are looking bad, guys. Come on, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Oh, dang it. And we failed. So we lose 2 sanity. This game can be very, very easy or very, very hard. It's all dependent on the die roll. Now here's Amanda Sharp. We're going to take on Curator here because we don't want to lose trophies continually. We're going to go ahead and summon our glyphs with the Tommy gun and try our luck. Oh, there's our 3 right there. Outstanding. That was the hard one. Now, the cool thing about Amanda here, if we had had another scroll, she can do multiple tasks in one turn, which makes her disgusting if you roll correctly. Okay, no glyphs here. Nothing I want to hold on to either. And you can see now we can actually hold glyphs with Amanda and Marie. And there's a scroll. And then you can stack your investigations. And Curator is down. We get an Elder Sign, a clue, and a yellow glyph. And 2 trophies as well. Now we move back to Diana. And you'll see it's about to strike midnight. Right there. And what's the effect? Doom +1. Now, the cool thing about Jacqueline here, she can actually use a clue token if she has it to randomly change this Mythos effect. So sometimes it can get better or sometimes it can get worse depending on how it rolls. But Doom +1 we can go ahead and deal with, so we'll leave Diana's ability alone. So we're 1-1. Now, Diana looks to be in a bit nasty shape. She's halfway down with her ability. She has no trophies. By the way, this is the entrance. You can spend trophies. You can actually spend a turn to rest and increase your sanity or health up to 1. Or you can spend trophies to increase your entire attribute, or 4 trophies to increase both. You have Lost and Found, where you basically make a random spin for an item, or a loss of health or sanity. And the Souvenir Shop, where you can just flat out spend trophies for different items. 10 for an Elder Sign. So we're going to go ahead and... what to do? We're looking for Elder Signs first and foremost. So we're looking for anything that has a star. There's a star right there. And blood on the floor. I think we're going to go try this. What's the effect? A sanity and a health. Gone. Blood on the floor. The dark pool on the marble tiles chilled me to the bone. Then I heard the scraping noise. Oh, actually, went back to the... Diana ran out. She didn't want any of that. Now, these Roman numerals up here, those can be potentially problematic because that means we have to complete these tasks in order. So I have to roll 2 investigation first, then 3 investigation, and then on the last roll I have to roll a terror and a peril. So let's go ahead and roll. Okay, there's our investigation. Now we have to roll 3. Now, you see the skull and the terror right there, the peril and the terror. So what I'm going to do, just to be safe, I'm going to spell lock the terror and spell lock the peril. And there we go. We have what we need. So we get an elder sign, a clue, and a common item, and 2 trophies. Good job, Diana. Now it's Jacqueline's turn. I always worry about Jacqueline because her health is so minuscule. Now, what we have here, the writing on the wall. Now, this right here means it'll summon a portal to another world. It's a different type of adventure than stuff in the museum. Has an extremely good chance to award us with something awesome, but the consequences are very bad if we lose. This right here means if we fail, Yig gets a doom token added to his track. Oh, also, that means a monster will be summoned for completing the task, so sometimes there is a price to pay. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot that'll give us an elder sign, and you see, that will actually kill Jacqueline up front if we fail. We have to get 4 perils in one roll, which I don't think I have anyone, that's going to be able to do that. Well, what does she have? Oh, she has plenty of stuff, doesn't she? Let's go ahead and go for the writing on the wall. Show you an outer world adventure. We'll go ahead and summon the red glyph. Now, this is a terror room. You saw the tentacles outside the borders. If we roll a terror, we lose a trophy. Basically what I mean by rolling a terror, if we fail to complete a task during a roll and there's a terror among the glyphs, that's when the terror effect activates. Let's go ahead and roll. And there's the terror effect right there. And Jacqueline doesn't have any trophies, does she? Oh, she has 2. So we'd fail this. However, I don't want to use the Vorish sign right now. We're going to try a clue. And we're trying to get rid... What do we need here? A peril, a scroll, and investigation. So we're going to get rid of the terror and all of these investigations and hope we get a scroll out of it. And we did. So let's go ahead and put in the peril, scroll, and the investigation. So we gain a health +1 common item, a spell lock, a monster shows up, and a portal to another world is opened. Ooh, that's a midnight effect. That's not good. Let's see what the midnight effect is. And here's the other world, the Abyss. And you can see here we get 2 elder signs, a spell item, and a unique. However, we do lose 2 sanity and a health if we fail it, which isn't too bad. It gets harder as the game continues. And that hand sticking out means there is a monster, which is a serpent sentry. The Ophidian creature stared silently at me, alien thoughts running through its head. Doom +1. Now basically what that means is we only have to roll... Well, here, I'll go ahead and show you. Ancient Relics. See, the monster is just like a normal task. However, in order to beat this monster, not only would we have to just roll 1 investigation, a doom token would be added to the track. So we're not going to take on him right off the bat. I'm more concerned about this midnight effect. At midnight, -1 stamina to team. We do not want that. We'll lose a health if we fail it, but a monster will be summoned, a unique item, a common item, and another elder sign. Marie has no items, but we're going to have to risk it. The Hedge Mage. Her Hedge Maze, not Mage. I have walked this maze dozens of times. I could not find my way find my way blindfolded. How could I possibly have gotten so lost? So we need 2 perils and a peril investigation. Whew. That's not what I needed. So we destroy one of the investigation, which is too little for us, and we'll hold on to one of the perils. Now we need to get 2 skulls in one roll. And unfortunately, you can only hold 1 item in encounter, so we cannot hold that skull. And we fail. Unfortunately. -1 health. So Marie took a little chin music. Now it's Amanda's time to shine. And she has some abilities that'll help us out. Let's go ahead and summon the yellow glyph using the knife. And she can go ahead and use the skull and investigation. And can roll these again. No skulls, or no perils rather. We'll go ahead and use a clue. We click on this to send all the glyphs up to be re-rolled. And not 1 peril, that figures. No perils. Now here I'm going to go ahead and summon the red glyph, just to give us some added firepower. Ah, there's the wild. We can turn that into anything we want to. And there's 1 peril. And we click on it to turn it into one of these 4. Bam. And a monster summoned. We gain a red item that not only gives us the glyph, but gives us a clue as well. And a yellow glyph. So we have 3 elder signs. We need 10. But 2 monsters have been summoned. And there's Diana, and now it's time for midnight. Doom +2, that's not good. And another monster has been summoned. And now we're 3 for 3 with 3 monsters out in the museum causing havoc. But here's where I'll go ahead and end the episode so far, guys. I hope you're enjoying it. It's a really fun game. The board game's fun. This game's fun as well. If you liked the episode, go ahead and click like down below, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment. That'd be a big help, and we'll catch you next time. Later days, everyone.